What is that? Soul, conscious, and spirit. So when I asked the question, what is that? What I got was consciousness is the state of mind in which you inhabit while you're here. The soul of you is what's keeping all of the old information, the information that you gather today, information that you've gathered from other lifetimes. Spirit. Spirit is the energy that you emote, be it love, anger, hate, happiness, success, all of the energies that you emote. Being the divine human that we say that we are, we have to understand who we are, the mechanism in which we live in, and how do we put it out to the world. Your particular mechanism, because each one is the same, but yet very different. When the Creator created you, you were and are a very individualized essence of it. So the individualized understanding that you have of your consciousness, your soul, your spirit is all very different, and you will never find that combination in any other human being. When you understand creating and being a creator, nothing is done the same. Everything you do, you are constantly creating. Constantly. Imagine that you are constantly recreating. You're recreating every situation that you're in, everything that you do, every emotion that you feel, every smile. Every time is a totally different one because it's coming from a different place. That is awesome. That is awesome when you think of the power of that type of creation that you can do within inside of yourself. Yet, for some reason, we know it here. Sometimes feel it here, but then you forget it up here. So we can't manifest it out here into our world. The trick is keeping it here, feeling it here, and emoting it or pushing it out into the world. And we have to keep ourselves at that gentle balance so that we understand who and what we are, and we're getting the same results constantly, even though we're doing it a little bit different each time, but it's the same thing. Kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it? But that's what you're doing. And you're keeping yourself at that gentle balance of, I am here, I am the healer, I am life. I am all of it. I am it. But to keep yourself at that place where you understand that you are it at all times becomes our challenge when we deal with our world, when we start interfacing with our world, because the interfacing that we have with our world is really what? Our mirror of who we are. Our world shows us who we are at any given time, who we are and what we're about. Some of us say that we are Christians. However, we don't act like Christians, because Christians are always supposed to what? Forgive, turn the other cheek. They don't mind. But what is it that we do? We get angry at somebody, we stay angry. You're not going to forgive them. I'm not going to talk to them. Even if we took the label of Christianity off of that person, would that not fit any of the religions? That same aspect that I'm going to love you regardless of who and what you are. I forgive you for the things that you've done. But do we do that? Do we hold that consciously in our mind? We are such a dynamic individual. Not to get too big-headed about it, not to be too small-headed about it, but that delicate balance of the two. That's what the Libra is supposed to be doing, right? Trying to find that balance, the scales, right? Just trying to balance it out. Where am I giving too much or too little? All the time. So that would mean that if there's anything that we want to do, we can do it, and we shouldn't stop ourselves for any of the things that we can do. We should be able to do those things, no matter what it is. So that means that if somebody were to murder someone, would it be a right or a wrong?
Right.
Would it be a right or a wrong? And who's right and who's wrong and who's law? Because that person, I always think about Jeffrey Dahmer, because to me that was such a horrendous case, you know, for someone to be eating humans. And I think about that, you know, all the time. Well, what does that mean if he was eating humans, and what possibly could that human who was his dinner or his lunch do to deserve that? Well, my mind is too small to really understand the workings of the Creator and what it had in store. But I know that that person, every incident that happens in this world has a cause and an effect. I don't know who that person was to Joffrey. I don't know who those people were to various people that they had to experience what they did and in the way that they did. Consciousness, soul, and spirit. Consciousness, soul, and spirit. That's who we are. That's who we are. So when we're doing certain things and we're acting certain ways, we have to be reminded that we are that consciousness, that divine consciousness that can heal and solve any situation, any place, anytime. Without being big-headed about it, without being too small-headed about it, but keeping your balance about it. We truly, truly walk in two worlds. We walk in this physical world and we walk in the spiritual world. And the spiritual world is the world that makes up this world. But we are the participants, and we're the ones to say how it's going to be shaped. If you have lack of faith within yourself or lack of confidence in yourself, then that means if you were creating your sphere, it probably have a little dent right here. Because you don't have the confidence. You know, and if you don't have the confidence, then maybe you don't have a lot of courage. So you got another dent. Maybe you're scared of the dark. So you got another dent. That ball now, when it starts to roll, it's going to roll with a wobble. Because those are all of the insecurities that we've put inside of ourselves to say who and what we are, and that we can't roll smoothly along. Then we start believing in what we see out here in the world. I need money. I need the job. I need to be there. All of those need be things that we think that we need to make this consciousness soul being perfect. So when we start taking our strength and we put it out there in what we see, we get another dent in the ball. Because that's the illusion. That is your test to see exactly where you are and understanding who and what you are. Because if you really understand that you are a divine spirit having a human existence in this physical body, then the spirit cannot die. The soul cannot die. The consciousness cannot die. The physical body, you will discard it as if you were discarding this outfit. And then in another lifetime, create another physical body to house a certain combination provided by the soul of the human body again. Because it is perfection of who we are that we are working towards. To return it, because it's not us, we're just a drop of the Creator to work here to perfect ourselves to return. To return and just be another part of the body. It's like if I asked you to feel your right kidney and the 407 million cell. Can you feel it? That one now, just that one. Because that's how we are in the body of the Creator. It is so magnificent that it wanted to experience itself in all of these various fashions. And this is just a small fashion. But if you think about all of Washington, D.C., all of Maryland, all of D.C., all of those people that we see out in the street, we call them crazy, we call them knuckleheads, we call them crackheads. All of those people are reflections of us. So how do we help them and help ourselves when we see our reflections? We give them a blessing, because everybody comes into your life to receive or to get a blessing. Everyone. The crackheads, the knuckleheads, the people that you don't like, you can't stand, and all the things that you say. Because all of them are showing you what it is that you need to perfect this. Because you are the most important person in this creation. And when I help you, you help me. When I perfect myself, I perfect you. We lift up humanity just a little bit. Just a little bit. And this is our only job. This is our only job. But what do? We think that working for AT&T and getting that money, making that money, getting that check, having all those little things that we like to entertain ourselves with is important. And the development of your soul, your spirit, is the most important thing that you can do in the world. Not even in the world, in the cosmos, in the universe. Especially as you being the divine people, when you really understand who you are and how you've been tricked out of your inheritance. You've been tricked out of your inheritance to make you think that you're weak and you're poor, you can't do, and you can't create. Well, the first thing is that we have to do is to change our thinking. Change our thinking to something positive, that yes, we can. Yes, I can. Yes, we can. And start doing it. Making yourself mind you to do the thing that you need to do to elevate humanity. Sounds like a big order. Well, it's really not. When you're really just dealing with yourself and understanding who and what you are, that right there, that focused consciousness of knowing who and what you are is the biggest and the best thing that you can do for this world. Just focusing on you. And understanding why people do the things that they do. Why do they do the things that they do? It's usually because there's not enough love. It's usually because it's not enough love. No matter where it was denied them, as a child, a broken heart as a teenager, whatever, there's not enough love. And when we start understanding that there is enough love to go around, there's enough kindness to go around, there's enough trees, there's enough money, because all of that is here. It's just here. It is. That's what Isis is all about. Is. She was. She is. She is it. That's what Isis was about, the mother. She brings it all together. She takes care of her king, and her king takes care of her. He knows her thoughts. She knows his thoughts. When she gets tired, she can rest a little bit, and he'll know what it is that she desires to have done in the kingdom, and he'll take care of it while she's resting or while she's bringing birth into the earth. And he'll know what it is that she needs to calm her and to cool her whenever she is upset. And she vice versa to him. But we've gotten this thing so misconstrued that we think that we need 5 wives or 5 lovers or whatever it is that we think that we need to satisfy a very physical condition. When we could just change our minds and take that energy of what we're feeling, raise it up the magic wand, whether it's the spine, clear out all of our chakras, and have our divine orgasm, which is our aura. And we recycle that energy. However, when you do find that person who is that soulmate, and how do I know my soulmate? I personally don't believe in soulmates as being a male and a female type thing. I believe it was the atom that came down and split. And when you're perfecting yourself and then you come back with that soulmate, it may not be the person that you think that it should be. But see, as humans, we've lowered the standards, in which we always do about everything. If it gets too hard, we lower the standards and say, it's okay, you can do it that way. You know, it's all right. Because we like it easy, we like it quick, and we like it fast. And those are usually the ways that we usually get in trouble, because we're not thinking about the ramifications of accepting this thought here, and what does that thought get me 15, 20 years down the road? Or where's my society if I allow this thought to prevalate in my thinking, and then 15, 20 years down the road, we don't think about it. But there are other people who do think about those things and know how to just lead you to the thought that you need to be thinking to satisfy their desires. And we don't believe that. And we have to start thinking about everything that we do and why we do what it is that we do, that we're doing it for the development, firstly, of yourself, and then of all of humanity. Because if you're not right with self, then you can't help humanity. There's no way possible. Your ball is bent. You can't help humanity. So that's why I say you are the most important person in the universe. Because the perfecting of you is the perfecting of me. And when two perfect things are together, they roll in harmony with this divine universe in which we live in. And we hear the words and the words sound good. Makes you feel good on the inside for a little bit. But what we have to understand is that it takes even more than us just feeling good for a little bit. This is something that we have to work at all the time, 24/7. And not to be obsessive with it. Because there's the balance again. Finding that nice, gentle balance of what it is that I'm doing. Every prayer that I say, every word that's out of my mouth, which is a prayer, has to be correct. Every thought that I think has to be correct. And how do I correct those error thoughts that I have from past relationships, lack of love, lack of understanding? How do I do that? The first step maybe for some is meditation. But then what do I do with meditation? How do I sit? Because some of us think that we can sit anyway and it's okay, but it is not. There is a method. There is a method into how do we meditate. A lot of people want to sit in lotus style, but they're from the West, and that's not a position that's very comfortable for us. So you're having a strain or a stress on the body, and the body is supposed to be still in that oneness when we're meditating so that we can receive the information from the cosmos. Because the cosmos is still talking to us. It never, ever stopped talking to us. We've stopped listening because we are so busy being entertained out there and listening to what they say. Because they will say a lot of things. And when they're telling you that it's this, it's usually that. And we have to start as a people, start thinking about what is being said to us and why is that thing being said to us. It only takes a little bit when you watch the commercials and they tell you, oh, you can't drink coffee anymore. Coffee is going to make you jittery, bad, da, 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 da. Now they tell you, hey, drink it because it's going to make you lose weight, and especially if you get it in the green seed. We have to start looking and listening and really taking care of this physical body that we housing ourselves in, our planet, and all of humanity. That is our job. It is what we are set here to do as guardians of this earth. I know a lot of times it sounds like a lot, and we don't feel like we are actually those guardians of this earth because of the condition that sometimes we can find ourselves in. But you have to also realize that some people have plotted this out and thought just how we as a people should be and be thinking. Because what? They've studied you. Years and years of studying you. If you go into Egypt and you go into some of the tombs, you will see a section of the wall cut out perfectly. And what they're doing is taking those hieroglyphs and understanding what it is that we do and how we have done what we've done in the past. So the only thing they have to do now is to run interference. If we could all focus in on our pineal gland and make a rock move to build the monuments, all we have to do is to keep you entertained on a certain type of beat or a certain type of frequency. And as you are entertained on those frequencies and beats, it pulls you from further and further away from your kin. And we start saying silly things like, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm an Indian, you know, all of these different things. We are of the same tribe. And in those tribes, we were all various colors and shades. It was the European who named us Indian. They gave us that name. If you go to the continent today and ask an African who was born on the continent, what was the name before it was Africa, they don't know either, because they've been colonized just as well as we have here. And their thinking is being changed as well. So everybody's thinking is being changed for the entertainment and the survival of a 10%. And it is very important that you participate in helping them. And how do we do that? Economical slavery. We go to work every day to get the little dollars that they want to give us. And we tell our children, you want to go to college and get a good college education. Why? So that you can work in their factories, their jobs, their schools. And they take our young and they bring our young in at a very early age and have our young to be disciplined in their educational system. So then when they come out of their educational system, they are the perfect slaves, the perfect mental slaves. And they will tell you this is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that you should not get an education, because you should. We should get an education, but along with that education, we really need to understand who and what we are as divine people, and how do these divine people who are educated by someone else fit into this world, and what do we do to create this world to be a better place than where we are today. And there are things that we can do to make this world a better place than where we are today. We're being ruled by a warring people. They love war. They love guns. They love bullets. Why? Because you can't, they're not recyclable. So that means that every time they're made, there's cash money that's on the line. And who is being funded by that cash commodity on the line is you. You are being funded, but you don't know it. Somebody sent me an email just this weekend, and I had tried this before with Fidelity. And you can put your Social Security in there, and then you'll see all of the different companies that are using your bond and your money. Mine was over 70,000. That's a lot of money that I could certainly do my bathroom over, do my basement over, but I can't get my hands on it because we don't understand this system. And we have to be able, and if we don't understand the totality of this system that we're in, surely we must understand the system that we believe in, which is our spiritual selves. Because I'm going to tell you, when you understand how to utilize this vehicle that we're in, the melanin that's in our skin, the pineal gland, and when we learn how to focus it, things will happen for us. But each one of us have to have that same belief and understanding, and we can't be fragmented. And that's what has happened to us. We have become a wonderfully fragmented group of people. We don't have one single thought that resonates with all of us. Oh, well, let me take that back. Maybe the latest dance step, or the latest alcohol or what?
Even then, there's a word.
Yeah,
You say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, say that we don't have anything that resonates us and that keeps us together. There's nothing that's common between us.
Right.
Whether it be religion, whether it be economics, nothing.
Right. There is, when you think about Ethiopian Here in America, what do you think about? 7-Elevens, taxi cabs. You think about Vietnamese, think about nail salons, Chinese restaurants, Europeans, banking, finances, Jews, diamonds. Everybody has a market. Everybody has something. Everybody has something to give, to barter, to sell. What is ours? Gross national product. Sagging jeans. What is our gross national product? And that's what we have to start looking at. What is our gross national product? I mean, even if we didn't, even if we said that we didn't want to stay here, we wanted to go back to Africa. If we go back to Africa, what are we giving up? What are we helping their community with? What? So those are the type of things, those are the type of kind of thoughts that we have to start having. Those are the type of conversations we have to have. And even with those conversations that we're having, we have to understand, where did we come from in the first place? Some of us say that we're all from here. Some of us say we all came over on the boat. I don't believe the boat theory. I really don't. Because as tight as they say that it was, and you poop and you're speaking another language, this one is sick and this stuff is running down my face, and you think that they came over and said, here you go, mister, here's some food for the day, and you got 3 meals a day? So somebody got skipped. Or it was too many, and that white boy said, oh, I'm out of food, forget it. And he stops. Comes back the next day, he didn't keep count, so he goes 15 people down the road, so those 15 didn't get fed. So I don't believe that part. We didn't get fresh air, and that was a 3-month ride at the time. So yeah, I think that they were throwing a lot of us over on the side of the boat. So I believe that 12 Years a Slave, that movie is more of an accurate account of what actually was happening to us. Now, some people came over on the boat, but I think the majority of us were already here, and they were going north and bringing the South, because that's what the South wanted, that extra manpower. So we have to start thinking about what it is that we're thinking about, and how are we going to think those thoughts, and what are we going to do with the thoughts that we think? Because every thought that we think, we're putting it out there in the universe, and we're adding to the confusion that is already here. And if we really, really, really honestly believe and feel that we're the divine ones, then we should be working the hardest to put things in order, so that when we say it and manifest it here, thy will shall be done. Thy will shall be done. Because your will should be the same will as the Creator's will. When 1 or 2 are gathered in thy name, there I shall be also. The power, the manifestation of the words. In the beginning, the words was given to us, man. And when they're talking about men, they're talking about the womb man, whether we like it or not. It's very easy. And it's not to step on men's toes or to make you feel less than, because you're not. You are equal to. You're equal to the task. We just have to learn, how do we utilize one another, and we put this thing together to assist humanity. We have to understand about vibrations. We have to understand about rhythm. We have to understand about cause and effect. All of those things, because those things assist us in creating a better world in what we find ourselves in today. Genetically modified foods. And we're putting those in our body, and they're slowly and surely but changing us and really destroying us and making us weak. Other people can consume those type of products because they themselves are genetically modified beings. Whether you want to accept that or not, and say, like I used to say, oh, well, they just lighter than me. They just like me. No, they're not. Exactly. It's off. Totally off. They are not like you. This is why whenever there's a new transplant of an organ, it is done on a melanated person, because you are the human. If it works in you, it'll work in them. And that's not a bad thing. You just have to understand what it is that you're dealing with. And you may have Europeans in your family. I have Europeans who've married into the family. They're not really in the family, which is a difference. Okay? But you have to understand what it is and who you're dealing with. And that's even when we deal with one another. You have to know the spirit of the person that you're dealing with. Because you could be dealing with a demon at any time. Because you have to remember that the planet Earth is where everybody comes to have their fun, their development, their learning. So there are other beings here too. But we're not going to get off on that. We're going to talk about the humanity, us. Because that's, to me, is another one of those things that keeps us out there and separated. Because then you start thinking about that and they take it away from you again, saying that it was an alien. And if it was an alien, it probably was usins. Because there was no time when man was not. So we have always been here. But because they are writing the story, then their story starts at what, 6,000 years ago. But this planet is billions of years old. And they have found the fossil and the proof of how old it is, and that there were beings that look more like you and I that were here on this planet. So in the beginning, and everything was being created, and they brought the animals of the earth to Adon to name and to have dominion. Not to dominate and control, but to have dominion, to understand what it is that the earth needed, when it needed, and how it needed. Same thing that we are to do with our physical relationships. If I'm in a relationship with this person, I know what they need and when they need it because I love them. And we can't fall in love. We have to be the love. Because when you fall, that's when you make a mistake. But if you're already loved and you attract the divine love that you need in your life, then that person is going to know how to do for you. And then you only have to watch and say, how does that person make me feel? Do they make me feel good about being me? And then when I'm with them, am I feeling even better? That's probably the love that you want to be with. But if you're looking at that person, you're thinking, their butt too big, their hair's nappy, they make me sick, they drive too fast, they drink too much, they eat too much, they chew this, they chew that, there's a Negro. All of the little excuses that we give ourselves to be with the person. We better get ourselves straight first. So as you get yourself straight and you understand who and what I am consciously, spiritually, soulfully, then I vibrate to a particular level and I pull to me what it is that I need. And as being the woman with the womb, then I pull what is out seeking likeness. So I pull it to me. I don't have to go out and search for it. Whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Egypt, whether it is in Ireland. If that is the person that's supposed to be with me, I will pull it to me. And man will seek what it is that he needs. It's very simple, it's very balanced. But it's we humans who've interpreted our own craziness. If we just stick with the law of nature and stop pulling it and try to change it and make it different, then we will understand and overstand. And then our ball is once again complete. Because that's what we need, a nice round ball. So anything that we're feeling lack within ourselves, that's a dent in our ball. And our ball can't roll in harmony. We have a very specific job to do on this planet. And we have but to do that job and understand it. And then be the example so that when it is your turn to bring forth life, you understand exactly what time that you're going to have that intercourse to bring forth the particular seed that the humanity needs at the time to lead it to wherever it needs to go. Everything is a divine plan and divine timing when we are in divine order. But instead, we go and do something and we say, oh, well, let it be in divine order. You know, if God didn't want me to have it, he wouldn't have gave it to me. Right. And that's why I said all of those are excuses. But if we look at the situation and whatever it is that we're doing, and we look at all of the possibilities of how this could go wrong, and how it could go right, and then we step away and said, I've done my best, thy will be done. Then divine order takes in. So if something happens or somebody's late, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's divine order, not when we half do something and say, well, if God wanted me to have it, that's the divine cop-out. And we do it all the time because we want to be comfortable. We like being comfortable. We like it quick. Hurry up, give it to me now. I want to be there already. And then we teach our children that. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Let's do it now, because we give them microwave food, so they think that everything is going to be done in 2 seconds. I can reach my spiritual development in 2 minutes. It is a lifelong journey to spiritual, truly development. It takes us living out there in the world, seeing that what happens to us when we're out there in the world, and then we're among like-minded people as we are today. Like-minded people who are understanding where they are going, what it is that they are doing. So once the like-minded people start understanding that, then we can sit together and look at a 10, 20, 30-year plan and say what it is that we need to do for our people, because our people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. They have all of the European knowledge that they need. They know all of the remedies to cut something out of your body, but do they know anything about how to heal the body? How to create that child that we need to be the president in 3050? And who are the male and the female that we're going to put their seeds together to bring in that energy? And is that male and that female the proper persons to demonstrate male and female energy for that child to do whatever that child needs to do? So there is a lot that we have to do and a lot of work for us to do things. Understanding who we are as divine people of this earth. It is a constant job. It's a 24/7 job. And it is a commitment that each one of us need to make towards ourselves. The Institute of Spiritual Enlightenment has created such an energy in such a way that people can take 3 years out of their life. And I know a lot of times people say, well, okay, I just do the work. Yeah, you can just do the work. Anybody can do the work. The real work is the work that you do within inside of yourself. The real work is the work that you do within inside of yourself. And your life will start showing it to you. It will start manifesting whether you're actually doing the real work or not. If you're speaking words and they're coming back to you unfulfilled, you're not doing the work. We have to do something different to get something different. And it is a constant vigilance to keep your mind and your heart in unison on that thing so that we can manifest it in our world. And it is something that we are doing all the time in every relationship. When you're working and you're talking to somebody, you're doing it. That's an exchange of energy. You can change that person who's upset within a twinkling of an eye. But when you're looking at your ball, if you don't have the confidence to say the words that you need to say because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, I want somebody to like me, well, that's my boss, and then we give ourselves all of those excuses, then our ball doesn't roll very smoothly down that road. Or if we're doing something just because of the money, and we're hating it, Then we got another little lump over here on the side of the ball, lack of courage. Oh, I'm too sick. And another lump on the ball. Oh, I'm too tall. You know, all of the twos that we give ourselves, so our ball is not rolling smoothly down the road. It has all these lumps and bruises on it. Every piece of information that we take in and that we hear within inside of ourselves, we should be adding it and applying it to some part within ourselves. Which part does this fit in for me? Do I need more confidence? Then how do I do that? I got to work on that. Because only through your confidence can you walk through the desire, which is to sire from the heart, that what it is that I sire is correct. And what I sire is what the Creator sires. Because we're one. I'm just the hands and the feet, the physicalness of it. That's why when you see somebody else, why should you hate them? You should be loving everybody that you see, because they are a divine reflection of who you are. They are your divine reflections. And those that are not your divine reflections, because they're here too, you know that too. And you bless it and you move on. You don't stay around that which is not a like-minded being like you, unless it's your calling to assist that being upon their life cycle. And you will know that too. And you'll know those that you're supposed to encounter and those that you're supposed to walk away. Those who are supposed to be a friend for a little bit, because we have to understand that what? We know everything. We already know the answer to the questions that we're getting ready to spout out. So if you start saying to yourself, okay, I know the answer to this. Why is this happening? I know the answer. And just get quiet. And usually it'll come to you. Whether you'll believe it or not, or accept it or not, depending on your programming that you received from the outside world, you have the answer. You have the answer. You are the answer. And you have to understand how to apply the answer to the problem so that we can get a solution. This is what you're charged with. Being that divine person all the time. Consciously, spiritually, soulfully. And when you're not doing that, you're missing the mark. And missing the mark is what? Sin. Missing the mark is sin, because there are no mistakes. We do that which we're supposed to be doing at all times, whether we like it or not. Whether it's an accumulation of what we thought we were supposed to do, but now I'm here. Now I realize that that thought that I was thinking back there that got me here was a mistake. Let me change. Right here, right now, within the twinkling of an eye, you can change. Doesn't take much. But you have to do it. You have to have the confidence. Remember, in the ball, you have to have that confidence. You can't lack. I can't do this. I'm too this. I'm too black. I'm too big. No, I'm perfect for the task at hand. I am perfect for the task at hand. So when we start listening to the thoughts that we're thinking and what it is that we're saying over and over in our minds, and what are we getting in our world? Because I guarantee you that if you're thinking lack in your mind, then you're getting lack in your world. You may not become a millionaire overnight, no. But if your needs are being met, yes. Yes, you are. See, a lot of times we look at the greedy part. We look at what's out there and what is and deem that being successful. Successful is having somebody that really loves you and has your back. That's successful. Having at least 3 friends that you can call on and you know they have your back. That's successful. They're not going to ask you when, what, why, and how. You say, I'm going to beat up this girl up the street. Come on, girl, I got your back. I ain't asking no questions. Ain't that right, Rose? You just have their back. And that's what we have to do to bring back that continuity of who we are as a people. And when we start loving each other 100%, 100% of the time, even if you see the brother walking down the street with his pants hanging down, that's all right. Love him anyway. He know not what he do. But had you been in his life, maybe he would. He may have taken another understanding about what it is that he's doing and why he's allowing that. We have to be the change. That's one thing Barack got correct. We have to be the change. Yeah, we have to be the change so we can initiate that change. And as we initiate that change, we start changing our world and things start happening differently for us. But only when we start doing it. How great thou art. How great thou art. You're greater than you know. And I want you to prove it to yourself. Prove it to yourself. And next time you say, I don't know, say, oh, yes, I do. I'm guaranteeing this to you, that if you start saying, yes, I do know, guess what? You will start knowing. You will start knowing. Anything that you ask, you will start knowing. It is a guarantee. That's how great you are. You have but to agree with thyself. And when you start agreeing with thyself, it becomes manifested in your world. So you do know. Consciousness, spirit, and soul. That is the divine, that is the Holy Trinity that is within that body that you have. That is the Holy Trinity. And only you can make a difference with that. Only you can make a difference with understanding how to open up those energy chakras within the body, how to utilize the melanin within your skin, and how to focus the pineal gland. Getting yourself enough rest for the physical body, enough water to wash out any toxins that may be in the body and to keep the inner workings of your body working correctly so that you can think the correct thoughts, so you can make the right actions and the right decisions. Divine people you are. Ashe. Ashe. Questions, answers, concerns? No? Great. Yes. You said you had one?
Yeah, but you know, a little while back, when you started getting deeper and deeper, I forgot.
Okay. Okay. It may resurface.
Are you going to share the information on how you got the fidelity information?
Yeah, I can send you an email. Yeah, it's a website, and all you do is you put your name in it, and then all of your stuff comes up.
It was up for a while, but they took it down.
Well, it's not Fidelity. This is not Fidelity. This is another brokering house. Yeah, because what's happening is that people are understanding how to capture their birth certificate. And when you capture that birth certificate and you start owning it, then you have to go after all of those people who are trading under your name. Mm-hmm. It's like they stole the money, the stocks from you. Yes.
Oh, okay, putting all you said in context with today's judicial system,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times we have to go before them
Mm-hmm.
in defense of what's right against what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to someone who would possibly choose to defend themselves without an attorney?
You have to go in with the strength of you. You know, knowing who you are as a divine being, and you can't have any fear or any doubt within yourself, because they will, and you have to listen. You have to listen to what it is that they're saying, because they like to make spells with their words. Okay? And you have to go under your own authority. Like when I went to court for my case, and there was nobody there except for Rose. It was me and Rose in there. And I just came out my pocket with what I knew, you know, my stuff, you know, and I walked up to the judge and he said, well, in these cases, when the prosecutor is not there, and the prosecutor was there, but he got up and left out of the courtroom, but they called my case at the time when he did it. So when he got up and left, and they said, we usually dismiss these cases. Is that what you want? And I said, no. And I said, oh, who said that? But it was me. He said, well, I'm going to dismiss it anyway. He hit the gavel. Boom. and shook his head like a little 9-year-old. I'm gonna do it anyway. So that's what I'm saying. When you walk on your own authority of who you are, and if you have any doubts, if you have a little bit of doubt, then go get an attorney. I'm serious. And it's the same thing with your health. When you are not feeling on top of the world, and you don't feel that I have enough strength to pray this prayer, and I want to ask Sarah to do it for me, but I know if Sarah get a party Saturday night, she's gonna be gone. She ain't gonna be able to pray for me. And I'm gonna tell her I'm laying here waiting, and she out at the party. You know what I'm saying? Then you go to a doctor. But my suggestion is that we don't go to a doctor unless we have broken a bone and it's an emergency. Other than that, check your diet, check your water, check your sleeping habits. There's something that you're amiss. Right. Or you can get, an herbalist. Yeah. But do not take yourself into those hospitals. They are not your friend. They are not your friend. The only thing they want to do is to keep you a little bit alive so you can go to work a little bit longer so they can milk some more money from you. Right, exactly.
Crazy thing is
exactly.
They show you all the time with placebos that the mind is the most powerful drug there is. I mean, you get people that go out there taking a placebo for chemotherapy, and it's nothing at all, no drug, and next thing you know, all the hair is falling out.
Right.
So it goes to show you that what she says about having that confidence and belief that you are that divine being, you can achieve anything when you believe it wholly.
Holy. So we can't have any dents in the ball.
Yeah, because my previous case, and I think when I had to hit the white man, and the prosecutor was so adamant, that he had all this power, right? And I kept professing, you don't know who you're dealing with, right? So I told my husband, I said, you watch how the universe and the power of the Almighty is going to remove that prosecutor. So today I'm going to court, right? When I get in the courtroom, I mean, we had a traffic light. We see the prosecutor going across the light. And I said, there he is, the little bald head one right there. When we get in the courtroom, he's not there. A new prosecutor. And that new prosecutor acted as if he was my lawyer. So it was like I had two lawyers. But you kind of lose track of that when you're stressed and you're going through, and you have to be around people who can kind of help you bounce back.
And that, that stress, a lot of times we'll build up the stress in our body, and we become accustomed to it and don't even recognize that we're under a stressful situation. And that's why it's good to be around like-minded people so that they can assist you with that and say, you feeling okay? You all right? What's going on? And they can assist you through that. But when we are out here just being by ourselves, totally away from the group, then you're vulnerable. You start looking at the things that are out there. Well, they do have more money. White folks, they got a lot more money than they got a lot more guns. And you start giving your energy over to them thinking that is what's important, and it is not. It is not. Yes, sir.
The question, there was something you said earlier I wanted you to touch on, but one of the things about coming into places like this is that people have different levels of knowledge and information.
Yes.
So I know for you it must be difficult to kind of narrate properly. But you made the comment about frequencies and things of that nature of other people. Now, my understanding of that is pretty clear, but not everyone may see the same thing as far as like energy vampire people that you need to keep yourself away from.
Yes.
But I also wanted you to possibly touch on the fact that how much we're interfered with all of the frequencies being put around us, from the radio waves, from broadband internet, from cell phones, and everything. Imagine how things would be if there was no interference.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Even with music, for example, it was like the music on 432 megahertz versus what it is now.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Keeping ourselves in the proper frequency is very important too. And the best thing to do is go lay out on the grass, hug a tree, neutralize. And if there's any negative thoughts in your mind or dis-ease in your body, when you lay on that grass and you just give it up to Mother Earth, she loves it. She's wanting that, because what she does is take your negativity, your dis-ease, and neutralizes it and turn it back into mineral for the earth. So see, you're helping once again, even though you think, oh, I don't want to give all this that I got inside of me to the tree. The tree is saying, please, please come over and hug me. I see all that stuff in you.
See, you breathe. What you breathe is not for us to breathe out.
Right.
What you exhale,
Exactly.
what is good for the trees.
It's good for the trees. So when we start understanding, how we fit in this, then our ball becomes smooth and we can roll merrily, merrily down the stream. Life is but a dream. Because it is. You're only here for a small amount of time. And if you understand that, then you roll with ease. And even when there's something that might cause a dis-ease in your life, you can embrace that and round off that dis-ease lumps in its ball and bring it on in. That's when we really become healers of one another. We start understanding the real process of how do I heal? When one or two are gathered in the understanding that healing is here right now. Right now, it doesn't go away. Healing doesn't go away. Health doesn't go away. Love doesn't go away. It's all here simultaneously with us here and now. And all we have to do is to allow that frequency to come in us. And when we start allowing things to happen to us, then we flourish. You can't help but flourish. Things will change. So understanding those frequencies and understanding also when the frequency is too high and the negative, and you say, well, I'm gonna cross the street over here. Okay, because sometimes your frequency may not be as high as the frequency of that negativity. And if you go over there messing with it, it will devour you. So you have to have discernment. So don't let people tell you that you don't judge. You judge every day. You decided on to wear that turquoise shirt as opposed to a white shirt today. That was a judgment call. So you do it, and you better learn how to do it well. So that when you're looking into the eyes of the bright darkness and I'm going to go across the street. Because that's what they're called, the bright darkness, because they can appear to be working on the positive, but they're so deep into the negative that their light glows too. So it's important to know that. And to know your frequency and what you can handle and what you cannot handle. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I keep asking these questions.
That's all right.
Just wanted to ask you this because you were talking about the pineal gland, and as one of the things you also said about them studying us. As we are starting to learn and know ourselves as a people, there's a lot of people out there misinforming us and sending out disinformation. And one of the biggest sets of disinformation that is out there is the calcification of the pineal gland.
Right.
And I wanted to hear what your thoughts on that was, due to the fact that, like, I remember a study they did in Vietnam where they were bringing back black soldiers, and they would find out that their pineal glands were never calcified, where other people were.
Well, that therein lies the problem right there. Ours don't, theirs do. Humankind, mankind.
They want to tell us that, you
right.
decalcify your pineal
Right.
gland. I'm like, you talking about? I
Right.
stay in the sun all day.
Right.
Not burn my pointy and not do anything to me, but
And that was actually when they first started experimenting on this, so they could figure out how the pineal gland works and about the calcium.
So don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. That's and that's why I'm telling you, you have to understand who you're dealing with. Because if they're telling you that and you're buying into that knowledge, and you're doing damage to yourself. See?
You're taking away your beliefs.
And exactly, because now you're thinking, well, my pineal gland is calcified. No. Now, I do believe that sometimes we can, because of the damage that we do to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Over a course of a lifetime, we can do damage to ourselves. We do it all the time. But that's where that balance comes in. How much am I going to do of whatever it is that I'm doing? Always remembering the balance. We have to be equal. If we're going to play hard, we got to work hard. The balance all the time. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks for asking those questions. Earlier you were speaking about the fact that we are human, and white people are different than us. They do have deficiencies. It's like they're subhuman. Right? So, do you believe that the whole calcification of the pineal gland, and they so-called have 15% of them that they are calcified. Their pineal glands are just like us, so-called just like us,
Mhm.
right? Do you believe that there's really 15% that's my first question is, do you believe that there's really 15% of white people in this world who have decalcified pineal glands who look just like ours? And do you believe that, how do you think you should deal with them? You know, like, some people think, you know, like Dr. Umar Johnson feel like we should just write them off and just stay away from them and they can't come in nothing and
Like she said.
they got to get out of it. I don't believe that. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm a love of every being, you know. I mean, I know people who not to deal with and who to deal with, who to keep from a distance. And so I feel like I make good judgment calls when it comes to that. But I still love everybody.
Right.
So I can't just be like, well, I feel like that's what the white man has taught us. That is white supremacy. To say, I don't want to deal with you because you are white. That's what the white man has taught us, and I don't want to do that. So how do you deal with that? How do you feel about that?
Well, to answer your questions, first, we're not going to call them white
Okay.
because white is purity of race. We call them Europeans, Albions, you know. So let's get that straight. I think that we should just leave them alone because if we leave them alone, they're going to die. They will die because we are the creators. You think about anything that we put out here, we've created it. They've only had the money to market it. You see what I'm saying? They've had the money to market it and to say, hey, we're going to say that this diamond is worth $100,000 because diamonds used to be on the ground in Africa like the dust is today. They put a value to it and said it was valuable.
So maybe, so you don't feel like Europeans are valuable at all? Like there's no Europeans that are valuable to us?
There may be, one or two. And I'm going to tell you, like one of my students' father told me, he said, there may be one or two of them who are very valuable, but I ain't got time to figure out who that is. And this is, and I'm saying this is not to hate them because just you go over there and I'll be over here. You remember the Ku Klux Klan said it best, separate but equal.
That's right.
And they said it, separate but equal. Let me come over here because if you think about all of the towns that we had back in the 30s and the 40s, we had the pianos in our house. We had the china and the silver because we knew how to do things. But because they did not, when all of us went to church, their religion now, they went in and robbed our houses and set them on fire.
That's right.
That was Wall Street. And so what I'm saying to you is if you just leave them alone, okay, I love you over there. You do what you need to do. Let me do what I need to do. And see what's going to happen again.
To touch on what you said about Dr. Umar Johnson, something that I wanted to say in a room like this, is that when he makes a comment that we should leave them all alone, but on the other hand, he'll say something along the lines of that, hey, the black penis can make Europe brown in 50 years and make it black in 100. Essentially, we're watching it come back into our gene pool, because to go back to what you say about the not calling them white and not 15%, you also have to understand that there are different types of Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
Some that came from our gene pool due to albinism.
Right.
Some of those of us that went into the north and got stuck in the ice age and became the caveman that they have now written about. And then there's also the one that we played around when we were messing with genetics.
Right.
Which we're doing now. People that are trying to create the perfect child. There was a time that happened, and what you got was the polar opposite of us.
Right.
So you have three different kinds. Those that still share enough about, that have enough melanin to share some of our DNA, because they came from our pool. But also what you're seeing happen now, 50 years ago, they were made up about 30% of the population of the planet. Now they're about 9%. They're going back to which they came. But to go back to what you're saying about leaving them alone and not hating them.
Right.
I think what that means is this, like what Marcus Garvey said, I had no desire to take all black people back to Africa. They're no good here, they won't be good over there.
There you go.
But that also, you have to have the understanding of knowing that there were white people out there on the front lines that helped us do an abolition of slavery. And even if whatever you believe about Obama, and much of us has changed now, we didn't elect him on our own. So I think the other thing that needs to be put into play is that people have to, as we spread into our community and talk to other people, I think that, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I feel that we need to get to a point that we need to get rid of this mindset of this war revolution, because it'll take care of itself on its own with positivity and spirituality. Because I feel like ultimately, hey, what are we going to do in this country right now? Now, most of our warrior class is either in jail or in the Navy and military, or making millions of dollars playing football or basketball. What does that leave us with?
Right.
Do we have enough manpower? I know right now I'm a gun owner, only because I want to protect my family. But with that being said, I can look around at all these brothers and sisters, and nobody has guns. Nobody knows how to.
Well, they gave the guns back because they gave $25 to turn in a
You
gun.
know, but that goes to show you that we trying to play their game. We will
Yeah.
lose terribly. We play their game, which means that we need to play our own. She says, leave them alone. In the sense that we need to start working and focusing
Together.
on our own family.
Right.
And it'll work itself out. And for example, I will say this because I don't want to give anybody the misconception of anything. All of us have woken up at different times in our lives. And me growing up in a suburban area, I never had any issue. I dated dark-skinned girls, I dated light-skinned women, I dated Asians, you name it. And so I so happened to have a child with a white woman 10 years ago. And it taught me a lot about myself, about the world, because I got to look at my son and see things in him that were different. I also got to look across the aisle and go, oh boy, when you start to really gain knowledge of self and knowing your history. So there, from an eyewitness point of view, they are different. No matter, even those that are compassionate and care about you.
Right.
The problem is with that, and it's something I had to kind of come to terms with a couple of years ago, is that if there were a point in time in history in our lifetime where there were war or if they wanted to put us in FEMA camps, how do I know she would be able to say, hey, you know what, let's take his little light-skinned butt and make him look white and get rid of him for her own comfort? It could happen. So there, you can have it happen. It's so close to home. What she said, we don't have time to be figuring out who's on our side, even black or white.
You feel how I feel, not that's wrong, but it's the mentality is what I'm saying. If it's about the mentality, then is it truly about the skin color? It is about the skin color because that's what
the rules were created
Right.
also that.
But you bring up the abolitionists that fought and died for us. It's a lot of white people in history. It's a lot of stuff wouldn't happen if it wasn't for a couple of white people here and there.
I didn't want to give them too much credit
for us.
when I said that because the thing that really separates them from us the most is their aptitude to spirituality because they don't possess as much melanin. So therefore, they can meditate all day. They, like I said, they don't have the relationship with the sun or the earth. So therefore, they can try, but they never truly get it.
Right.
And so what do? And when it comes down, like for example, you look at the Dogon tribe, people that were kicked out of Egypt and learned, knew all the history of the ancient systems, and they know what the star system was. And they know it took white people years to make satellites and figure it out. And they go and look at them and go, "Oh, aliens must have told you."
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Man,
And that's what I'm saying to you. Our ancestors, we always think about our vision is 2020. Our ancestors' vision, they saw that out in the Sirius. They could see that planet, they could see that far because of the melanin in their skin. They could hear. You know what I'm saying? We could speak the word and it would happen right then and there. There's so many different stories. They say that we created them because we were trying to perfect ourselves. Yeah, the Yaku story. But I mean, it is possible.
Not completely. I think all lies have some truth to it.
Right.
What that being
Right.
said is that it may not be some Yaku doing to say I want to do this, but ultimately, when you start messing with with genes and DNA, sometimes you're gonna create a mutation. Sometimes you're gonna make a mistake.
And they've evolved from that mutation. I mean, they even have a movie called The Island of Dr. Monroe, where they actually do that. Those experiments, and the only womb that was here was a melanated woman's womb. So that concoction was put into the womb. Yeah.
It goes back to what that one set of white people that are Caucasians that is different is the redhead. And when you see they're the most rare form of Caucasian on the planet. Why? Well, they are us who went to the caves because they were freezing, but they couldn't survive in the hot sun. Ice Age happened, but it didn't take over the whole earth. Therefore, when they came out, what do you see? A redhead, big lip, wider nose, beings, but pale from the lack of sunlight and nutrition. So that's where you get a whole other set of people. So when you ask why they're here, there are many different reasons. No different than like, for example, you see a biracial couple have those two girls. One girl came out completely white, the other girl came out completely black. The DNA and the genes, like she said, in Africa or Kevlar, whatever you want to call it, there were many different shades. As you look around us right now, you see it on your own body. You got different shades of yourself. So
Pale skins, we make even our color.
We make everything.
Blue eyes, the gray eyes, the light hair.
But they'll always show you whenever you see them blue eyes, that's the devil.
Well,
Even in the movies, they show you that. The devil's eyes are blue and they be just sparkling. They show it to you. They have to, this European has to tell us the truth. Now, whether we accept the truth is up to us. But they got to tell you the truth. They got to show you the truth. This is why my prayer is that the vaults of Vatican open.
no bull, man.
Because that's where I believe the information is. They did not just go around and just burn all of those books and that knowledge. Ain't no way. There's no way that they did that.
And he was uncovered.
Right, right. And what they do, like I said, when they're telling you that it's this, it's really that.
But opening those votes would be beneficial to those unlike us, because we know.
Well, yeah, we have the
So,
information
yeah,
anyway.
the information
Yeah.
is there.
It would just be easier, you know, to
Right.
see that your
She told you.
ancestors.
They don't know because they don't see. Those people are not, they don't.
Oh, you think
need
other
to
people don't
see.
know?
They don't
Right,
research
they know.
enough to
Oh, they
find
know.
out what they
That's
are.
why they
They
hold
know,
it. Because they
yeah.
understand the three different essence of our body, mind, body, and spirit. They can't control the spirit or the mind as much
Right.
as they can control the flesh. So in order to do that, like for example, when like you tell anybody who's a Christian and understand the King James, which I'm so confused with these Hebrew Israelites, is how can you still take the book given to you from the man who raped and pillaged your people?
Exactly.
So why would you still take his source? And then when they say, "Oh, King James was black," let's say he was, which we know he wasn't. If he was, he only had the right to commission and publish the Bible, as we know, not write it, not give it to you.
Yeah,
He
Hey,
did
man.
right. He commissioned other William
This
Shakespeare
is
and
all
other.
Right, but they just changed a lot of
Change,
things.
you know,
But if you read the Hosea, you'll see where the Bible came from.
yeah.
Okay, so that they just taken those stories and just changed them around a little bit. And, you know, because they don't want to give you too much power, so we change it.
But
We
make it
make it
close
so,
enough
right,
that you're comfortable,
Yeah.
but you're giving your power to some other source.
right.
Like
So-
when King James wrote the book of demonology, and people know what he was doing then. He's going around killing voodoo and voodoo priests, so therefore he wouldn't have that
Power,
power.
that power, the power is good.
And what country do they not touch today? Haiti. They trying to do everything to Haiti. So with that said, I don't want to keep us over, but any other questions and we can close out?
Except for the announcement.
Oh.
The meeting and all, I admit next time.
Okay. The school will start in September. There's a meditation class that I want to start. I was going to start it this Tuesday, but I think that's a little bit too close. I'm going to start it the last Tuesday in June, and it'll go 7 weeks. And in this particular meditation class, you're going to learn the color, the sound, the movement, and the vibration for that energy chakra. Okay. The last day of that class, we will do a powerful meditation utilizing all of the sounds, all of the colors, all of the chakras. Okay, so it'll be an intensive one because I'm going to be trying to pack all of the information in at one time. I'm hoping that you don't miss any of the classes, but if you do, you know, one really for you. That's all I can say. So with that said, the Emerald Ball will be in October this year. We're planning an outing in Rock Creek Park. We're looking for a badminton set. We're looking for volleyball. And Precious is getting the spot for us. So that's going to be in August.
And that date is
What?
the 21st.
The 28th of August?
Oh, okay, all right.
I think it's the 28th of August. Yeah, it's on the calendar. I said I was going to start writing this stuff up so I have it and not be trying to utilize my memory.
And the
Anything?
Woman Know Thyself weekend.
Yeah.
So the Woman Know Thyself weekend is the 3 days, and we're gonna do our second one August, the first week in August. I don't have a date for it. We should be back here. We're reworking the curriculum for those 3 days, but it should be as powerful as the first. So any people that did not get a chance to attend the first 3 days, you can come attend our second 3 days.
So I'm going to ask that you give money to the Institute of Spiritual Enlightenment. That doesn't hurt or harm to yourself, but we certainly appreciate you pinching yourself and giving a little bit more. You know, it's important that we keep these doors open, whether you come every Sunday or not, or whether you, you know, we got to keep ourselves together. I always think about Wally's place down on, is it 14th and Florida Avenue? He had a nice big place, European store that we were meeting there, popped out 5 meals on the table, said, can he beat this? We took that from us. So,
That's something that has to change in our community though, is that we have to move into silence. so many times that we want to tell everybody what we're doing, like, this is what's happening, but even then, like, you gotta be careful who you invite to your circle.
Because not everyone.
So one of us is
We
infiltrated.
have to get together and purchase some of that property, and that we won't do.
Well, we had tried to do that here, you know, just asking people, to give like $5 a week, you know, and then we keep that $5. And a lot of the, Asian people do this, you know, and then you pick out the hat and then somebody gets $100 for that week, you know, but you're also drawing your own little pot of money too. So, and that requires a lot of trust, and it requires that people do what they say that they're going to do. That's another thing. We don't do what we say we're going to do. We say we're going to do it, then we don't do it. And we have to be the person of our word, you know. And that's I mean, and that's all of us. You know, I mean, I understand that you can forget, I forget a lot of things, you know. But if you remind me and let me know, then, okay, yeah, it's great. So it is us helping one another to do the things that we say. So without,
Service at the auditorium is still on.
yes, that's going to be on the 28th because Dr. Bombay will be here on the 21st. He wanted to change his date, so Dr. Bombay will be here on the 21st, and that's going to be a dynamic wellness at 402 H Street at 11 p.m. Same time, same place. Just we're going to be there. Huh?
You bring some more,
Yeah, he said he was going to bring extra stuff for you guys because he knows that people had a lot of questions, and if you have questions, bring them, you know, to the forum. Yes, sir. Oh, but no, I thought you had a hand up or something.
Oh, no.
So, without further ado, I'm gonna say that we're gonna, let's make a circle. And we're gonna do-
These chairs are
And thumbs left. So if your thumbs are like this, you push them to the left, and then take somebody's hand. Thumbs, right, okay. Oh, great. Just fall in between two women, Rodney. There we go. Thank you. All right, so just find that comfortable place within inside of yourself where you find your oneness. And say to yourself, peace, peace. Be still and feel the power and the wonder and the glory of who you are as a divine person of this earth. Hoping that you find the strength to carry the mantle of divine, of being a divine being. As we thank our guides, our guards, our ancestors, and the ancient ones for drawing near to us, being here this day, this place. And with the wonders and the knowledge of who we are as divine people, we say Ashe, 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 Ashe-o, Ashe-o. So it is. Have a wonderful day. Give a hug. Give a hug.
Now I realize why you're sending that message.
She said, "We're reflection. Love you, sir. I'm so glad we talked about it. I'm going to see you soon again. Thank you very much."
She's all excited.
A couple little things, that's a care.
I feel like we've met before, Keenan. You been around Keenan. Trying to find one that he's lost me because the conclusion is like stated.
Plus essential oil system.
Hey, come on. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. You
No matter what you
Like a box office, just.
You have a shoot, I have a. That's what it is.
This is big business for this. I don't know.
It's good to have a step in mind at the same time. We open the game like that. But with that, you have people like Joe Morris who quietly $20 million opened up a high school. Now those kids are graduating with a small class. You don't have to go out there and buy the school. That's cool, but try to do too much too soon, too fast. And he can do it real slow and make it big.
I mean, we gotta think big on it.
It's coming because we're very close to that point that our children will be the ones who really are. Like I said, the habit has been started. We want to have a revolution.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that we're going to do well with that truck. But it's like, we just lost. Like,
Yeah.
around here, how many black folks are really strong, like, you know, how ours are. We can mess some stuff up. But that would hurt us all. We just want to just move our own way, make things work, and like do things on a local level. Like when it comes down to Black Wall Street, anything that we see in trucks out there, you know, killing people that have been slaughtered, killed, and they try to come up in this world. It's more difficult for that to happen. Because you imagine what it was getting on civil rights movement, if they had the ability to like this, and film all those things for the world to see, it would have changed the format of everything so fast. Even one of the things I find so funny about this process is seeing this whole J Bills and all this stuff, talking about the new. How did that happen? In this system? All these countries are trying to.
It's the same thing as serious.
That's what these other countries don't want. It's a stereotype to keep people submissive. They keep people not letting them fight back.
For your name. Trying to get to
The system is we became a debt society. You couldn't, back in the day, you would be able to make enough money and purchase it. But after 1933, it became a process because you had to go into debt.